Suhasini? Suhasini, are you able to share your screen?
Yes, Vijay. Let me just check it out. 1 second. Yes, I am able to. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vijay, for giving me this opportunity to present my 2 bits of knowledge about grandparenting. Hello, all. Welcome to this session. It's about graceful grandparenting because, as Vijay sir was mentioning, that it's about it's for the people who are 50 plus years age. We thought this might be a good topic. Sir, please let me know when I can start so that I can start the session.
You can start now. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So welcome all to the session of graceful grandparenting. We all know that grandparents are our real stars, our beacons of life, because we need them to hang on to our cultural connection, our family history, a sense of our own past, and they are our even hope for our future because they will help us in mentoring us, teaching us important life lessons, and a lot more with their wisdom. So we need grandparents to become a successful and holistic individual, apart from our parents who guide us in other aspects. That is the reason why, if you actually happen to take a sincere look back about yourself and how you are processing, even your parents and even you, in case if you have grown up children, are more eager to become grandparents than when compared to how you are expecting your first child. Because the moment your child gets married, you start asking them, when can we have the grandchild? Is it not too late for you to start planning for a grandchild and all the stuff? This would have been the same stance which your parents would have adopted, and you might also adopt in future in case if your kids didn't get married yet. So now, though we're eager and we want to become grandparents, most of the parents have some or other issues or some conflict of opinion with the grandparents. I mean, I hope you would have observed it during your childhood, or even you might be experiencing it. So that is the reason why we need to adopt a graceful grandparenting methodology so that we also evolve as per today's world, and there will not be any generation gap while helping our children raise their own children, that is our grandchildren. So graceful grandparenting is about embracing unique and evolving role of grandparents in the today's fast-paced world, which is being driven by the gadgets. So now, who am I? I mean, which authority I'm going to talk about grandparenting? I'm Suhasini, and I'm a child psychologist, author, blogger, and also a podcaster and a parenting coach. I do take a lot of counseling sessions for parents as well as kids. And most common topic which comes among all these counseling sessions is about grandparents' role in their children's upbringing and how they are kind of over pampering their children or over disciplining their children. Both sides are there to the same point. So that is the reason why I thought this topic is the most apt for today's session. And my website is at mommyshowmusings.com. You can reach further there and read more about grandparenting or other parenting related articles. We all know that the grandparenting has evolved over time. If you recollect your grandparents or your parents' grandparents, they would be like typically grandmom will be relegated into the kitchen making all the yummy dishes for their grandchildren. Grandfather will be sitting in a patio or in the veranda or reading a newspaper or chit-chatting with his friends and talking once in a while with his own children or the grandchildren. He'll just be an observer, but he'll love to see his grandchildren playing around in his eyesight in the periphery of the same room. But whereas now, if you see from there, today's generation grandparents are becoming more hands-on grandparents, where grandparents, both grandfather and grandmother, are equally involved in raising their own grandchildren. Why this thing has come? Do you have any thoughts from why we had gone from there from the earlier grandparents, generation of grandparents, where grandmothers were relegated into kitchen, making yummy desserts and yummy dishes for their grandchildren, feeding them continuously with their love and affection, to the more active grandparents who are spending more time with the grandchildren, playing, fooling around, and all that stuff. Do you have any thoughts? We can have an interactive session here instead of me sharing all that stuff. Please do let me know why this generation shift has happened. Any
Yeah.
thoughts?
Either you can unmute yourself or maybe you can, type your responses in chat window.
No, I think the levels of education has increased. So previously, unfortunately, the women were not allowed to get educated to a large extent. Their education was probably limited to primary or maybe secondary in the best of circumstances. But now the situation has changed. The modern age grandparents are probably degree or even double degree holders. So
Yes.
corresponding mindset is change is evident.
Yes, that improves the confidence of the grandmothers, especially wherein they are able to talk in the same language with their grandkids. But now, even when the education of the grandmothers has improved, at the same time, the families have become more culturally diverse. Earlier, all the marriages were happening within India, but now marriages are happening across countries where kids are going and marrying. I'm not becoming biased or judging people. Our kids are marrying Spanish people or Italian people or even German people, where still that language barrier is kind of existing even in this generation, but that's a different language barrier, not just English. It's another foreign language. But still, yes, what you told holds true, because because of the educational background, because of the more education, grandparents have become more confident and they're able to spend more time with their grandchildren and also with their children. Any other thoughts? Okay, then I will give you the possible reasons why these things are happening. As sir has mentioned, sorry, I couldn't get your name, but what you have mentioned is really the value, because the parent education has brought in a marked difference, and that's the reason why the parenting values and styles have changed. And so the grandparents are able to form a strong bond with their grandkids when compared to the earlier generation. Also, at the same time, the societal values and have also changed when compared to our previous generations to this. And as I mentioned, families are becoming more culturally diverse. We're getting more multiple foreign languages, multiple languages within India itself. We're marrying across culture, right? So things are becoming more and more diverse. And because of the current economic condition, both the parents are expected to work. So then only they can provide a good stable childhood for their kids. So when both the parents are working, the support, the grandparents become the internal or external support system for their parents to handle their children. So grandparents are expected to lend a helping hand in active child care, like raising the children till they reach 3 years or 6 years, where they can put them into the daycare and stuff like that. If you see, most of in our in our parent generation, most of the people after becoming grandparents have to, because their kids are staying abroad, they have to travel to US or Germany, stay there for the daily mother's delivery, then take care of the child for 3 months or 6 months depending on the visa permissions, and then return back. Then their in-laws, the second set of grandparents, will go there, take care of the child for 6 months. Even for the elder kids, when there the schools are closing for the summer breaks or the long Christmas breaks, you see most of the Indians traveling abroad during that time, because they need to help their kids in the childcare, right? Because putting them in the crush or daycare facility has become really expensive, and there's a time when the kids will be free, so that grandparents can go and spend their time with their grandchildren. And changing economic realities, mostly when it comes to our generation, by the time we reach 60, we'll be still active in our work, in our career, and we would be running against time all the time, right? Even if we are not active on the career front, we are still energetic, we want to roam around the world, we want to see places, we want to spend more time with our family, because all along in our work life, we never got to spend with our partner. So we are roaming around. Our mindset about grandparenting has also started changing. If you happen to hear, mostly now, especially in the metros, our generation parents who are just become grandparents or who are about to become grandparents are saying that no, we don't want to take care of your children. Your children, it's your headache. We'll only come and visit them. We pamper them, overindulge them. We'll go back to our own active life where we have our own hobbies, where we have our own desires to fulfill. We roam around. We'll travel. So that set of grandparents are also evolving right now. So it's happening. Different kind of thought processes is happening. Shift in the thoughts are happening about the grandparenting. And as I said, increased focus on quality time with me, myself, my own family, its children's family, and all the stuff. These are the primarily the reasons for the shift in the mindset of the grandparents. So now, with so many things that are happening around, what are the tips that we can use to really basically establish a good bonding with our grandchildren and also with our own children, because we don't want our children to think bad about us, like how our parents were having difficulty time in convincing our grandparents to give us that freedom and flexibility to do our own stuff, studies, our hobbies and whatnot. So we don't want any friction in the house. So in that case, what are the tips that we can follow? One is basically first spend one-on-one time with your child. See, any kid, as soon as he or she is born, when he was a toddler, he will not remember how much time you spent with him. Whether you're feeding him, cleaning him, taking care of his daily needs, they will not understand everything. But once after they reach 2 years till 10 years is the prime time for you to establish your one-on-one connect with your grandchildren, because that's the time where they start accumulating more memories about their childhood. And that is the time, if you actually honestly think that can only basically go about with your own work and you are going there only for vacation or once in a while, then you will not have the strong rapport with your grandchildren. So spend quality time with each and every one of your grandchildren, be a walk in the park, doing a craft project together, whenever you go, even if it's like once in 3 months you go and visit your grandchildren and come back, but ensure that you dedicate the time for them. Ensure that you actually shower all your love and affection on them, so that they'll understand, yes, when grandparents come, these are the things that I can do. I have so much memories with them doing so many different things, fun things. Then not only that, you can also involve them in your day-to-day daily routine. Basically, whenever you're doing your puja, your meditation, your fitness exercises, your meal preparation, evening walks, or even you're chatting with your friends, you share with them what your daily routine is. Involve them in those daily routines so that they understand our family culture or family history. Once you are not only that, next one important one is basically you have to you are the one who actually can tell him what is the history of our family, how they need to adopt to the changing societal needs, what is the main important life skills that are required for them to become independent in future in the society. All this done only through storytelling. But some of you might tell, we are so busy with the studies, then career, we don't know any storytelling. We're not typical grandparents where we cannot even tell stories. Share your own family stories, share your own family history, whatever, in whatever way it is possible. There are so many videos on the YouTube, so many short stories on the net, which you can read, do a little bit of research and start sharing with them. Your family history is the first and foremost important story that you need to share it with your kids, because they need to have that solid foundation from where they have come. You can talk about your own grandparents, your own parents, and if you know a little bit further beyond that, please do share it. And always be patient with them, because kids are kids at the end of the day. They do a lot of mischief, and you can also become part of mischief and you can do have fun with them. Or otherwise, be wise. I mean, basically, show your calmness and be their anchor in their life. When parents are shouting, don't join them in their shouting match. Be calm and wise anchor for them. participate. And also, because as the trend is changing, there are so many new video games, new gadgets, new apps that are coming. You might not know about it. So learn about their hobbies, activities, whether you attend and you try to attend all the sports days or annual days, because those are the things that are important for their kid. You might say, I have a marriage at my family, so that is more important. Sports day will come annually, so I'll come for your next sports day. Kanna, don't tell like all those things, because see, for them, sports day is the most important event in their school, not the marriage in the or some other thing in the family. When you, it again, it depends on your priority list, but you can always tell them, yes, that is priority, but I want to come and attend your sports day because it gives you more happiness. This is a way you can actually build your bond. Because see, marriage, you attend that marriage, people will value your presence. You are a part of the family. They'll appreciate your presence and you enjoy it. But your grandchild will be missing you, because when any grandchild wants his entire immediate family, his mother, father, grandparents, to come and attend his small events like sports day, annual day, and stuff like that. Even if you're not able to attend that because of some unforeseen circumstances, call them up immediately, post that event, ask them how did they feel, what did you miss out, ask them to share the photos, see it, if possible do a video call. So these are the ways where you can get actively involved in their interests and hobbies. And you also tell them how you played, how you enjoyed your childhood. When you share all those traditional games, they'll start enjoying and they'll start spending a lot of time in front of the gadgets. And that is one of the short ways for you to basically get them away from the gadgets. And as a grandparent, you are the first one to understand what are their unique qualities. Whether your grandchild is an empathetic child, he's like very, innocent, very sweet-hearted, kind-hearted. He loves to share so many things, right? Not, I'm just talking about the emotional side here. There will be some intellectual qualities. He might be very good at math. He might be a good painter. He might be a good dancer. Don't stop them saying dance and all is not there in my family, so you cannot become dancer. You understand that he's having talent, encourage it, nurture each and every child's individuality. That builds in confidence in them, and that actually increases their bonding also with them. And be open-minded, because today's generation kids want to go out and eat once in a while, have a pizza. For example, not that you are not used to pizza, I'm just telling you, don't snub them saying pizza, pizza, and all are junk foods. I don't want to eat. Let us not go there. The way you want to go and visit temples, they might want to go out and visit an amusement park. Don't worry. Just be open minded, spend time with them. The journey towards the amusement park, or journey towards a theater or a mall is a time where you can bond with your kid, even though you might not enjoy that being there in that place. So these are the small adjustments. When you do, they'll also come to the places where you want to go, like temples, museums, and stuff like that. So depending on that, have a conversation, be open-minded with all their requests and demands. This shows that you actually want to spend time with them. And then whenever you want to, basically this generation kids are more into gadgets, right? So why don't you ask them to share what they learned at school, or through new games, new video games, so that when you ask them to teach you, they get that happiness saying, yes, I am able to teach my grandparents. My grandparents wants to become like me, wants to become more technology savvy, want to use new apps in a way to bond with me. This is the things that basically you can do it for the preteens and teens. I'm not talking about the younger kids. If you, the moment you go and ask a 6-year-old kid to teach you something, he will start going overboard saying, my grandparents doesn't know anything. And that is the egoistic development mentality that you're kind of inculcating in him. So don't tell your 6-year or 5-year-old grandchild that you don't know things and you ask him to teach you. But you can say, use this technique for the preteens and teens and above, making them a little more mature. And this role reverse actually has in the future. And always stay connected with them over the phone, through video calls. Don't hesitate, and make it a two-way conversation. Don't just ask questions. Let uh, give some time for them to explain things to you. That is the way more important, because see, most of us do have telephone or video conversations, but most of the time what happens? Yes, Kanna, you had breakfast? Yes. Okay. What breakfast you had, Kanna? Idli, vada, or paratha, whatever it is. That's all. Kids will talk only these two words and then they'll rush off. But instead, ask these open-ended questions, saying like, how was your day? What did you do today? Can you please share me? Today, I did this thing at home. I had done this thing at home, that thing at home. So what is that you had done? So share your day, ask them about their day, ask them about their friends, other things. Just don't do the call for the sake of formality. Keep sharing your photos with them and ask them to share their photos with you so that you stay connected. These are the important tips that you need to keep in mind when you want to actually become a good grandparent for your grandchildren. It is really funny actually when you observe what happens when you become a grandparent. You start acting very goofy, silly, and do things that you can never thought about doing. Like for example, in my own case, my dad never danced, who never moved his hands also apart from writing on the board, actually started dancing when with his grandchild, my child, because he wanted to engage with the grandchild. He wants to make my grandchild happy. He didn't care whether he was dancing good or bad. So that's the reason why I'd use this video art, which was done by Prestige. Please let me know if you are able to see it, or I can play it in the bigger screen.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah.
I'll do it one more time so that you can really understand. This grandparent wouldn't have even spent time in kitchen. But look at him now, learning cooking from his grandchild. Isn't it wonderful? This is how the grandparents how to become more attached to your grandchildren. Don't worry whether you're a perfect cook, whether you're a perfect dancer, perfect singer. Be along, play with them like a child. Then only they'll actually bond with you better. Right? These are the tips that will help you bond with your grandchildren. But what about your children? As we discussed, there will be little friction that keeps coming, right? You want your family to be at peace, right? So there are certain pitfalls that you have to avoid as soon as you become a grandparent. What are those pitfalls? Before we talk about the pitfalls, I want to really stress on the fact that yes, you have to there is a little bit of effort that is required from your end, adjustments that are required from your end to become a really good grandparent or graceful grandparent, with whom not only your grandchildren would love to spend time, but your children also welcome your presence in their house. They will not treat you as a hindrance for their child rearing activity, because they think these grandparents, oh, if my mom or dad come, they'll spoil my grandchild, they'll spoil my child, all the discipline goes out of the window. You please don't give that kind of attitude to your children. So what is the effort that is required from your end? Here are the points. Don't take over the parenting goals. Please, first of all, make up your mind that they are your grandchildren, not your own children. It's wonderful to be involved in the active childcare, taking care of their day-to-day needs, dropping them to the sea. Don't take up the role of a second parent. Don't give your advice about child rearing. If your child wants to go to a class and if he doesn't want to go to a class, and if a parent is pushing them to go to the extracurricular activity, then please don't step into that argument and tell them, okay, let ask the chodo, let us leave that bunk the class for today. Small kid, he wants to have some fun. Don't step into that discussion at all. Don't give unsolicited advice, or don't even criticize. I was never like this as a parent. I was very strict parent. Whatever I say, kids will listen. Don't compare yourself to your children as parents, because you are a different person. Your child is a different person. Though he or she might be your own child, or a daughter-in-law or son-in-law. You just how you both are totally different. That your parental role will be different. The way you parent is different. Parented your children is different when compared to the way your children are parenting. So Make up that mind. You are there only as a grandparent. And what is the role of a grandparent? Grandparent has to give the love and affection towards the grandchildren, pass on the family history, traditions, give you a wisdom. Don't compare and contrast. Don't take over the parenting roles. It's your, you be clear about your role. And don't stick to your old ways. Instead of doing the things the way they were done earlier during your childhood days or your parents' childhood days, don't expect things to happen the same way. See, for example, in our generation, even when our mom is working, there are certain things that our mom should do. Like she might be doing the cooking and then taking care of the house and then all the kids. Plus, she might be going to job. But now, people might employ a maid. Just because she employed our children employed a maid for cooking doesn't mean that she's not a perfect housewife or she's not a perfect wife, not a housewife. I shouldn't use the word housewife. She's not a perfect wife or she's not a perfect mother. Don't say that. Just because your daughter-in-law doesn't go out and put kolam, because we are from South India, I'm talking about the kolam that we draw in front of our house at 5 in the morning doesn't mean that she's not a perfect daughter-in-law or she's not a perfect mother. There are certain ways how things change. If your daughter-in-law or son is working the night shift, and then automatically they'll get up late just because you got used to getting up at 6 in the morning, having a first cup of coffee or tea at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. Don't expect your son to also do the same thing just because he got children now to establish the discipline, because things are changing. They might sleep late or they get up late. Their day is totally different. So don't be a stickler for your old ways. And don't express a reluctance to change. They might be using washing machine, or they might be using some other extra additional benefits or the comfort levels. So adopt the new technology or lifestyle changes that are helping them to lead the manage the house, manage the children without much friction. The moment you start expressing all your negative opinions about these things, things are the ones which will sow the seeds for the friction in the house. And at the same time, if your parent, if your children have certain rules about parenting rules, saying only 2 hours of TV, don't spoil your grandchildren by allowing them to watch TV in your presence for more than 3 hours. You tell them the 2 hours is over, then that means TV has to be switched on. The same way for the gadgets. Don't give in your mobile sneakily to your grandchildren so that they can watch for longer time. Tell them that yes, you might want to pamper them. Okay, fine, half an hour more, but provided he or she, the grandchild, does something extra to compensate this for half an hour, something like that. So don't try to always undermine the parents' efforts to instill the discipline. If parents are telling the grandchild to follow certain fitness routine or follow certain diet because of some other requirement and stuff like that, don't try to sneak in something behind their backs. Always work in coalition with your children who are actually the parents of the kid, your grandchildren, right? So don't undermine the rules, ground rules, or break those rules, so that the conflicts will start arising in the household. You want your grandchildren to have a happy childhood. That means you need to do the work. So these are the things, certain points that you need to also do. And don't use the judgmental attitude. Suppose especially for the preteens and teens, when your grandchildren enter into teens and preteens age, they'll have different interests, different hobbies. They might want to dye their hair in green color or blue color. They might even wear shorts in the house, sleeveless in the house. Don't tell them that sleeveless and all will not go in my house. This is a traditional household. You cannot wear shorts. You cannot wear a small skirt, micros, minis. Or sometimes out of the blue, your grandchildren might want to dress up very traditionally. That might also become a new norm, right? Then don't tell them, I'm used to wearing only shorts. No, the dresses are too granny. You don't behave like a granny. Don't do that. At the same time, don't compare and contrast your grandchildren. You might have one or more children, and for them, they'll be having children, right? So don't show favoritism, even unintentionally, saying, my eldest child, no, he's a gem of a boy. He got into IIT. But this child, he might not even pass the exam. He doesn't know dance. That child is gem. That child is this. Very casually you might be commenting in front of your children might overhear it, or your grandchildren might overhear it, and that kind of they start feeling very low self-esteem, and they'll start, uh, that hate children will start building up in them. So to avoid, don't compare among any of them. Treat them as all equal. And lastly, don't neglect your own well-being. Just because you are equal to child care of your grandchildren, just because you are taking care, spending so much of time, don't miss out your me time. Don't for communicate your needs. You might want to go for your regular medical checkup. You might want to, your knees might be hurting you, or your back might be hurting you, but your grandchild, infant or toddler might ask you to carry you all the time. You have to be vocal about your own needs, because if you fall sick, you will become burden to yourself and your children, also and your grandchildren. So you tell them, I cannot carry this grandchild for more longer time. If in case your children doesn't understand or come out open in proactive. You need to be proactive about your own physical health and tell your needs, and future misunderstandings can be ruled out. At the same time, constant babysitting is a odd, strenuous task at this age. So you need to basically tell them upfront, I can take care of the baby for 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on your stamina, and then you need a break. You need to go for your walk, you need to do your yoga or fitness, you need to take care of your diet. Children, what you can do, what you cannot. So set up your boundaries strongly but firmly in a very effective manner with your children. So these are now you might ask me, how do I support my children? I understand the pitfalls, I will work on it, but still I want to support my children. So for that, the simple 7-step process is the same. One is respecting their parenting choices. If they want to have only one single child, fine, no problem, go ahead. Don't pester them or force them to have a second child just because the first child is a boy or a girl, whatever may be the preferences. If they want to have 2 kids, fine. You don't judge them saying 2 kids is an expensive affair. Are you working? How can you take care of their job, educational expenses and all that stuff? And if your kids have decided certain career path for your grandchildren, don't worry on that. Leave it to them. Small decisions, food, preferences, going out, these are things that you can actually help them in coming up to the decisions. But the bigger decisions about having kids, their career, whether the mom wants to take a break in the career, from her career to take care of the kids, all that stuff, don't get involved. Also appreciate their efforts. Mom might be getting up multiple times in the night to feed the infant baby. Yes, beta, you got up multiple times, so let me take care of the baby in the morning time so that you can go have a small nap when the baby is napping. So these are the small things that you can show to basically appreciate their efforts. When your daughter comes home after the work, tired, give her a hot cup of coffee to show that, yes, you appreciate her effort of working in the office and coming back home. After giving this hot cup of coffee, she'll get refreshed and she'll be ready to take care of her kids, or enter the kitchen and cook for you. Don't give advice unless until asked. It's better to stay silent, even though you know that's going to be a wrong decision, because they need to understand, they need to fail to get up and become a good parent. So don't give any unsolicited advice. Be a partner to your friend, to your children in helping in raising the grandchildren. You cannot replace your children for them at any cost. Remember that. And in case if any friction comes, address it very calmly, without getting into emotional blackmail. Tell them this is what it hurt you, this is what happened to you, and how you got upset because of that. Once when you start talking logically without using any emotional blackmail, they will be able to be more open and take your advice. Respect their space and don't overstep. Definitely don't overstep in any parenting decisions. At the same time, also, last but not the least, this is the last statement. Your child is a child to you still. they might have become parents. They also need some love and affection from you, some pampering from you once in a while. Like giving a hot cup of coffee, as I mentioned, to your daughter or daughter-in-law after coming back from tired from the office, or giving a glass of water. Just because you're a grandparent, don't sit on the sofa or the couch with legs up, expecting her or other persons to do. Don't refer them as a parent of parent of some other child, your grandchild, right? Take a name of your grandchild. Parent of Arun, parent of mom of Arun, dad of Arun, parent of Sai, mother of Sai, dad of Sai, Sai Appa, Sai Papa. Not like that. Let's treat them as still your own child. Though they have grown up, their inner child is also still alive and needs some affection and pampering from you. Even after becoming a mother still wants a hug from her own mother. So give that love and affection, treat them as individual child and pamper them once in a while. For that mean you don't have to hover around them, taking care every small and single need, because they have grown up. They can take care of themselves. But once in a while, this needs to come unintentionally without somebody asking you or reminding you to do that. Once you start doing that, then you are actually had become a graceful grandparent whose presence will be all loved and welcomed by your children, not only your children, but also by your grandparents. I hope you, I want to play this small video for you so that you will be able to understand how better the grandparent can be. I hope you are coming in English down. And the video is mostly
Yeah.
in Hindi.
राजू पैसे पेड़ पे नहीं उगते बेटा.
Hindi, it is coming in Hindi.
नहीं मिलेंगे.
Okay.
उतने पैसे दे दो.
Subtitles are coming in English down. But I'm not sure whether the audience know Hindi or not.
Yeah, you can play it, no?
Guys, will you? Yeah.
आइसक्रीम भी खा लेना. बहुत बहुत पहले एक छोटी सी राजकुमारी थी और उस राजकुमारी का नाम था प्राजक्ता. प्राजक्ता. दूर दूर परियों के देश में एक खूबसूरत सी छोटी सी परी रहती और उस खूबसूरत छोटी परी का नाम था प्राजक्ता. एक बहुत बड़े महल में एक छोटी सी बंदरिया रहती थी और बंदरिया का नाम था प्राजक्ता. हाँ, बंदरिया. हमारी प्राजक्ता को ना लेमन एंड स्पून रेस में ब्रॉन्ज मेडल मिला है.
प्राजक्ता ने कल पूरे स्कूल के सामने नेशनल एंथम गाया है. तो बड़ी बात है ये.
राजू कब से कह रही हो रूम साफ कर. चलो अभी एपिसोड के 10 मिनट बाद
बाबा इन्हें प्राजक्ता
कौन दादू. आप भी उसी की साइड ले
कर लेगी सर.
मुझे फ्रेंड्स देखना. वो काले कुर्ते वाले की बीवी है, मगर काले कुर्ते वाले को मालूम नहीं है कि उसकी बीवी है. पिछली बार जब उसने कदम किया था ना, तब से उस पर बड़ी निगरानी रखी हुई है.
उससे क्या हो गया प्राजू? फिर मम्मा अपने आप से बात किएगा.
नहीं, मैं उसको डबल पैसे दूंगी नहीं. मम्मी आजकल व्हाट्सएप पे इतना टाइम बिताती है कि शाम को ये वाले दौरे कभी कभी पड़ते हैं.
दौरे पड़ते हैं?
हाँ, तो फिर मंडे में चलते हैं.
इसका कोई इलाज नहीं.
मिनट लो दादी से बात करो। दादी इट्स अ वीडियो कॉल है।
क्या कर रही है?
मैं दिखाती हूँ। अरे फिल्टर है दादा।
What you doing?
We're both puppies. बाय दादू।
प्राजक्ता,
हाँ।
आज शाम को मंदिर चले?
आज मेरे पास आज टाइम नहीं है दादू, 2-3 दिन बाद चलते हैं। ओके बाय। हेलो, आपको थोड़ी देर में कॉल करती हूँ, ठीक है?
राजू कहाँ है तू?
आपको फोन कॉल ठीक है, बाय।
प्राणी, कितना लेट हुआ देखो। कितनी देर तक बाहर नहीं रहे?
मेरे को आज ऐसा कुछ नहीं है बेटा। It's just that they are growing old and yeah, they are missing you so. मैं कॉल करती हूँ।
Hello, sorry, I think I lost the internet connection.
Yeah, it's okay. You can share it.
Yeah,
Continue.
I'll just share my screen 1 second. So we saw this, right? It was towards the end of this thing. 1 second.
प्राजक्ता, जल्दी मिलेंगे।
This is the thing. 1 second. So, so this you saw this video, right? Your thoughts on this video, please. Any thoughts or questions?
Yeah, maybe you can continue to ask me.
Yeah, because as we had seen this video, how special the grandparents were for Projecta in the entire video, right? As she started growing old and entering across her teenage years and started working on her own, she started relegating grandparents to the second plane of her life, and she started ignoring them because of her work demands or whatever it is. And that is when the parents started coming into the picture to remind her that yes, she needs to still keep in touch with the grandparents. When she visited them, you could see the joy in her face, in their face, right? So that's the reason why it is always important to know that grandparents are really very special resources. Just being close to them reassures the child without words about the change and continuity, about what went before and what will come after. This is not my quote, it's a quote by Fred Rogers, but that actually summarizes the entire role of grandparents in one's child, in any child's life. I hope you got to learn some key facts about importance of the role of the grandparents in a child's life. You need more information. I had actually written a book about how the grandparents and the basically the parenting pebbles from my grandmother called Granny Gracie. The book is available on Amazon. And for any further doubts or clarifications, you can reach out to me at the details given here. You can note it down, or you can just search for Momish Love Musings and Google, wherein you will get all the details and you can reach out. Or you can join my WhatsApp community, which is called Simplified Parenting with Suhasini, to get more daily parenting tips and affirmations and meditations and guided meditations and a lot more in the WhatsApp community. Thank you all for listening to my session. And thank you, Vijayji, for giving me this opportunity to present my 2 cents about grandparenting.
Thank you, Suhasini. So yeah, any questions you have, please feel free to ask either by unmuting yourself or putting your questions in the chat window. While you do that, once again, thank you, Suhasini. I think you have covered 3 aspects. One is how grandparents can nurture their grandchildren. What are the tips? And second thing is how they can have a very what you call very harmonious relationships with their own children while doing the grandparenting, so that we can have a more frictionless relationships, because nowadays very often we hear that there are some friction between in-laws, our parents and children, especially when grandparents do some kind of grandparenting to their grandchildren. Because as you said, grandparents are different, their children are different, and their parenting styles are different. So unless we understand and adapt and adjust, it is very difficult to maintain the harmonious relationships. Again, the next generation kids, their habits, changing habits, trending are going towards digital devices, and how to handle that. You explained it very well. And most other important thing, last but not the least, how they can maintain their own well-being, and by setting the boundaries. It is really, really important, because as we age, we may be very active, mentally, but probably because of some constraints, physically we may not be very active. So at that point of time, it is important to set the boundaries and express ourselves, whether we can manage this task or whether we cannot do that. That is very, very important to take care of our own selves. Thank you very much, Suhasini. Any other questions or any comments? Okay, so if we don't have any other comments or questions, probably we can wind up. Thank you all. Thank you for attending this session. We'll meet again in the next month session.
Thank you all.
sir. Thank you, Suhasini ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. I'm closing the session.